Hi, I'm Shaila, and welcome to a look back at 10 years of Think Talent. This year, Think Talent Services celebrates its 10th anniversary. In this conversation today, we have the two founder members, Bimal Rath and Anjul Pratyush, talking about their journey so far and what lies ahead for Think Talent. Think Talent started in 2010 as a leadership development solutions provider. Over the last few years, it has transitioned to a full spectrum talent solutions company with investments in technology platforms, content, and other capabilities. So let's get this started.
Yeah, it's been a bit of a roller coaster, I guess, and I'm sure my partner Anjul will have other additional views to this, but I see that we've almost had four separate roads in this journey, each linked to each other. So the first phase, and then the second phase, and the third phase, and now we are almost in the fourth phase. And it's been, I think, characterized by three things. I think one is characterized by what our customers have fed in, and we've learned how to sort of adapt to customer needs. I think it's also been a journey of adapting to technology quite a bit, and moving towards a direction where technology plays a much bigger role, both as offerings from our company, but also how we service the customers and how we think about products and services. Mm-hmm. And I think the third thing, which is a big one, is just sheer power of reinvention, experimentation, and staying with the game. That's how I see the sort of the 10 years journey. And I'm sure Anjul will have other views as well.
Right. My favorite memory, Bimal, is of the early days when we started experimenting with digital, and one of the interesting things, Shaila, that what characterized us was that we had no technical co-founders in the team. So we had to figure out a lot of this stuff ourselves, and that meant that we were often wondering what will work, what will not work. And I remember there was this initial pilot that we were running where we had to run an in-basket, online digital in-basket for a client, and the team was working on something, and a lot of these late nights and sleeping on the mattress in the office and so on. And then 2 days before the before the actual go live, we realized that this is not going to work, because we were not ready technically. And I think those moments were important because it would have been very easy to give up and say, "Yeah, humse nahi ho sakta hai." And then, not doing that and saying that, okay, let's plod on and figure this out is something that, I think we have done at many different moments in time, across the last 10 years. And I think that is something which is my favorite part of this whole journey.
Yeah, like I said, Jala, it's a in a way a journey of resilience and persistence. And for those who may not know us that well as a company, I think we are a non-funded company. We've sort of bootstrapped ourselves, and then of course from internal accruals invested in whatever it is. And that's all. There's always this sort of temptation to go out and get money and use it for let's say advertising and this thing. But I think fundamentally we believe that if you are persistent and you're very customer focused and you're focused on the quality of the delivery with whatever you are delivering and adapting yourself all the time, then you can actually play the game for a very long run and create value both for the customers and yourself. And like Anjul said, there are lots of stories, but I think two things which stand out for me from a stories perspective is I think the amount of confusion we would have created for ourselves and everybody else periodically as we debated about should we go this path or that path and so on and so forth is often wonderful in the sense that we still manage to come out with clarity at different points of time from all that muddling and meandering about, and like Anjul said, not understanding technology enough and stuff like that, but understanding the use of technology. I think the one thing we have stuck with as a philosophy is that we are, at the end of the day, we understand HR and we understand how organizations work, and trying to use the best of technology and the latest advances in technology to make sure that we are doing what we do best, in a way catering to the market for HR services and products, and helping HR teams and businesses to run their people process well. I think that has always been part of the core of what we do. Apart from all the muddling around which we have sort of engaged in over 10 years. And that's been the fun part. And I'll talk later about the not so fun part, so to say. Yeah.
The other part, Bimal, which I think we have done well, and I think we should pat ourselves on the back for that, is to not leave the client hanging. I think sometimes, and many times, actually not sometimes, as you start a project, you start with a certain view, this is what is to be delivered, and then you realize as you start engaging and the client starts engaging internally with the internal stakeholders, that there is a lot more to be done or something to be done differently. And at that point, there is a choice to be made, in terms of how much do you support clients. And I think one of the things I think we have tried very hard to do is not to leave the client hanging, whatever it takes, whether it is, a lot more effort than you had planned for, or developing new stuff on the tech side, or whatever it is. I think we have really worked hard. And I think sometimes I'm very proud of the team in terms of how they have picked that up in terms of the values that we live, and say that, okay, let's just make sure that we deliver whatever is to be delivered to the client. We can all crib later saying, was it a scope creep and this and that? But I think that is something, I think it leads to some high points, for me at least.
So that's true. I think our, our focus on, creating value, and, very often when people and friends sometimes ask you that, what sort of differentiates Think Talent in a way, and, what do you do differently? Because at the end of the day, what you do, which is, let's say, assessments or learning or, career management and, integrated solutions around these. Many other companies, I'm sure, offer that, so it's not that we are unique in that sense, but how we do it is, I think, very unique, and I would almost say that, that is something we've evolved over a period of time. The methodology of how we engage with clients, the methodology of how we, engage our own teams, and how the team collaborates and creates, innovation. I think those are the critical, points of difference, if you will. And like Anjul said, I think one of the things we should pat ourselves, and we do pat ourselves on the back, is that, and I say this very often with a lot of, sales pitches I'm making or business development conversations I'm having, that we have not lost clients. We would have lost some very early clients who we were offering very different solutions in leadership development, and not just lost, but maybe transitioned them out to other places or done other things with them. But otherwise, our approach has been, not to lose clients, and I'm very grateful in that sense that, while we have put in the effort, but clients and customers have been very understanding that it's a co-created journey, and if you are a partner, then you're a partner for a long term kind of thing. And that view, I think, has helped us in doing that stretch game, or playing that stretch game, if you will. Yeah.
And it has been fun, Bimal, to help them also see how digital will work for them. I think when I think about many of these clients and the conversations we had with them in 2015 and 16, where we were in a very different space, and they were still in a very, very different space, where digital was not really in their priority list to, let's say, in the last 24 months, when suddenly everyone is talking digital. And I think the good thing is that they see us being consistent in terms of seeing and talking about a consistent theme of how we see talent management and digital. So I think that has also helped us stay with them, like you say.
No, absolutely. I think it's a journey which everybody is going through in a way, and we are part of that journey. And how you travel that road, I think, is an important. And it's not that we've come to the end of the road. In many ways, I sometimes feel that you're almost sort of starting on the road, and you've just about built the road, and now you have an opportunity to sort of go to much more longer distances, if you will, on that same road. And and the road will keep meandering, and you need to keep building the road, and just walking on it, kind of thing. But I think one of my favorite moments, since Anjul mentioned it, and Anjul, I still remember one of our clients, and I'm not naming them. They've been working with us for about 6 years, and them, and Shaila, them as well. Pretty much a full-fledged leadership development offering, which was completely warm body, classroom training kind of offering, if you will, has now transitioned over 5 years to a completely virtual journey for them. And, and we continue to sort of work with them every year. And the reason I quote this particular story, I think, is in my mind that whole change management process and the fact that we had to understand the customer had to understand it, our people had to work with, the project team at the customer end, and then every year make that 20%, 25% transition, and you then reach, sort of this thing, that's very heartening from my perspective, because it shows that our team understands that it's a long-term play. You don't get anything done in a day, and trying to find shortcuts is perhaps not the best way of sort of approaching, particularly large companies, where change management and people's mindset is a very big piece of talent management. How do you deal with that rather than just plonk technology or plonk digital and figure out you've made a huge investment without any returns for it, kind of thing. So that's one of the things which I see us doing, with a lot of patience and understanding, and of course the customer needs to have the same outlook for you to partner with them, But that's a great story for us, I think.
One of the things, Bimal, which I think may have helped us do that well is that, I think people have tended to kind of stay with us and come with us on this journey, our own team, So if you look at our own team today, almost 20-25% of the team has finished 5 years in Think Talent, and that very few organizations would probably be able to, kind of demonstrate. And that allows people to also take a longer view of what we want to do with the client. When you are in a hopping mode and you are clear that, okay, I'm here for, 18 months and then I'm gone, you're not often able to take that view of, let's work with the client and go on a journey, which can be sometimes 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is, and that I think, helps. And, fact that we have a lot of these people who have been interns with us and then moved to a full-time job and then, kind of then moved into more senior level positions. I think there is also a consistency in approach which it allows us to, kind of deliver, which would not have been possible if there was too much flux, in the team. So that is another maybe aspect of the organization which has helped us deliver what we are talking about in terms of the customer experience and value.
Yeah. So that's true, and I think we recently did a survey, Shaila and Anjul, both of you know this, right? With several of our clients and customers, and I think 3 or 4 of the things which stand out from their perspective, and certainly from the perspective of our partners and employees, is that there is a sort of a flexibility and adaptability to our approach to customers and solutions, while not, in a way, while not compromising on the values. So you'd not compromise on the integrity, you'd not compromise on the fact that, you'd want to somehow give a substandard solution, but always, aim for the best, provide more value to the customer than, as part of the contract, so to say. And just make sure that, there is a relationship of trust which is built in, which is of course one of our stated values as well. But I think that you can only do if you have a team internally where there is a consistency, not just of the longevity of them being with you, but really understanding that what do you stand for as a company. And I think that has been an important aspect of our whole, if I would say, management strategy, the DNA, culture, communication patterns, whatever. When you start linking it all up, people would speak the same language, if you will, and customers also therefore expect things of you which are very value based, if I may put it this way. And I think that is what will stand the test of time more than anything else, in my opinion. From a sustainability of the business perspective, and keeping on doing new things and providing more and more value to the customer. But to go back to a different aspect we were talking about, and I'm sure Anjul would have his own stories. But there have also been times when we've almost got to the stage where we've said, it's not doable. It's just too damn frustrating. We've had frustrations with what I would say sometimes in the early years, mostly with financial issues. But also later, when you sometimes wonder whether you are on the right journey, whether this is something you can really build something out of it, and whether you are wasting your time and the opportunity cost is too high. but one of the most favorite stories I always recount is I was on a flight back from Bombay, I think about 3 years back, and I was trying to there was a gentleman sitting next to me, fairly senior gentleman, running a mid-sized company. And on the flight, we got talking, and he was asking me, what do I do and stuff like that. And I was talking to him about saying, this is what we do, and we are trying to transition to, digital and this talent management and this and that. And so we had like almost an hour and a half conversation. And at the end of all of that conversation, it put a lot of doubt in my mind whether I was a great, communicator. Because at the end of the whole thing, he said, "Acha, we are thinking of opening a distribution of oil in Gurgaon, and would you be interested in taking a oil distributor role in Gurgaon?" And I was wondering, what did I say to him that gave him the impression that but I also realized in that conversation that whatever my story is and whatever I try to explain, I think if you're not listening very deeply to the customer and what are his or her needs or the company's needs, just trying to tell your story without taking the contextual meaning into your whole sort of game, if you will, is a complete waste of time and all. And I think that is what then keeps you going, because I do think that our ability to work with clients and customers on understanding their context and therefore helping them find solutions is something fairly unique, I would say, and that brings that own adaptability to the fore, so to say. Yeah. But yeah, there've been huge moments of periodic frustrations from small things to large things, so yeah, it's not been an easy journey in that sense. So Anjul, what are your favorite frustration stories? Let's put it this way.
No, I think my favorite frustration story would have been that the client sometimes says that, okay, everything is fine, we have gone through multiple rounds of testing and all of that, and then the client IT team will come up with saying we have a small request or a small specification, and the specification is that you have to do this. And I think they don't understand that with a product play or with a platform play, small things are not always small. So if you say tomorrow that you have to make the platform work in a 100 kbps kind of speed, it's not something which you can suddenly make the platform do in 3 days. And I think sometimes I wonder how our kids really then not say no to anything. They are up for anything, saying, okay, let's get cracking and let's see how we can make this work and make that work. And there are so many other stories like this. But I think sometimes client teams, especially IT teams, almost take it for granted that whatever they need will get done. And that is why maybe a lot of these digital projects, customers keep complaining that they don't work. I think that is where maybe lots of challenges pop up, because they don't understand that it is very difficult for the partner to really make everything happen. So I think that is maybe where my biggest frustrations come in sometimes.
Yeah, I think the if I look at what we've achieved as well, Shala, over the last few years, I think let's say in about 2016-17, if you were doing a virtual assessment for 10 people for a company, and companies are also learning how to do it well, and we were trying out our platform and technology and content and all that. Everybody would be on tenterhooks the whole day or the number of hours that virtual assessment would be going on, and even for 10 people, you would see that the whole organization is sort of in a way working towards making that happen, and just praying, almost saying that let this work, because otherwise we can't move to the next step. To the state today where let's say there are 10,000 assessments on the platform running pretty much smoothly for a client across the globe, and we don't even bat an eyelid really once we've worked the solution out and things like that. Or you're training on a virtual platform, let's say 2,000 people at a go over a 3-4 month period. And while there always are areas of customer support and service and some glitches here and there, but by and large, when I look at that transition over a 4-year period, that how we used to be on tenterhooks and almost like I said, let everything work smoothly, to getting to this stage today, I think that opportunity to build scale is now starting for us. and the fact that this can now become, something of a much more, larger play, and our impact, therefore, on the whole, system of how we develop people across organizations, I think can be a very, I would also say very, very fulfilling in the future. The journey, I think, so far, in a way, has been a, journey of experimentation, creation, and many phases, as I started with saying, where we've tried many things and all that. I think now we will continue to try a lot of different things, I am certain, but at least now the base is of a kind where we can build scale of a very, very, very different kind, and go global, and work with large enterprise clients, and create an impact on thousands and millions of people, as against where we started as a boutique company of leadership development, where you could impact a very few people actually in a given space of time. So that transition and the future is I think outstandingly exciting for me personally, as we move forward from here. Yeah.
Anjul, what about you? What excites you about the future?
Oh, I think yes. Last week, one of our customers called us, and they have been exploring our platform, and they want to kind of transition a lot of their assessment stuff to our platform, and they have been obviously exploring platforms of 7-8 other providers as well, Indian as well as global. And the L&D head told me that, Anjul, we have looked at these 7-8 platforms, and on the balance, I feel that what you have been able to design, and the ease of use, and the fact that we are not a very tech savvy company, and will our own people be able to use it and run with it? Your platform is very, very well designed, and we feel that among all the platforms that we have kind of explored, this is the best. And I was obviously I was very happy, but it also gives you that confidence that I think maybe we have at least reached a significant stage in that journey, where what we have now got is in some sense can stand on its own, even in front of any global competitor, and whatever they may have in their own portfolio. And that sets us up, like Bimal was saying, we will continue innovating, but I think we are now ready to take on a lot of scale. We are able to take now a lot of complexity, and that is hopefully what will allow us to win a lot of exciting projects and deliver a lot of exciting projects in the next few months and years.
Yeah, so Shala, I think there are a lot of other, war stories and horror stories and exciting stories, and I'm sure we can go on and on in this conversation. But as we close this conversation, I just want to say maybe one last thing. And I remember that many years back, and this must be maybe 7 years back or something. I was just reading some random article, and in the middle of the article, this quotation by Mahatma Gandhi popped up, and I still remember that I wrote it on a piece of paper and gave it to Anjul, and he had it stuck in front of his chair for a long time on the whiteboard, on the pin board. And basically, what I don't remember the exact quotation, but what it did say was that if a band of men is determined to achieve something, and they are really purposeful around it, they can achieve. And I do think that our team is in that sense extremely purposeful, and in spite of all the ups and downs and challenges, and and the fact that you operate in a particular kind of a market which is transitioning, I think we've achieved a lot. And I'm personally looking forward with the team and with our customers, and and Anjul as a co-founder and other management team members, to actually take this journey to sort of significantly higher heights, if you will. Yeah. So that's I think my reflection on the last 10 years.
Good to hear that, Bimal, and thank you so much to you and Anjul for kind of taking me through this journey, hearing about the war stories, as you put it, Bimal, and the hearing about the meandering and the muddling of the last whatever were the initial years. I think that has also helped in creating the structured and the clarity, that it's given us that clarity on where it is that we're headed. And I think that is something that will hold us in good stead in future. So thank you so much.
Great. Thanks, Shala. Thank you.